Hi, Nancy Muller here. Do any of you ever have challenges with your mom? Frustrated with your mom? Your mother-daughter relationship isn't quite what you wish it would be? Maybe you'd go so far as to say that you really could care less if you were ever around your mom again, ever. I totally know where you're coming from, because that used to be me. Every Mother's Day, Christmas, birthday, whatever event that, cards are, you have to send a card for, I would try to find something funny. And my feelings inside were not feelings of love and nurturing and these, oh, you're the most wonderful mother in the world, so how could I buy her a card like that? So I would always get a funny card. And then I would give it to her, and then my mom would get upset. And she'd say, what's wrong with you? Why do you always have to get a funny card? Why do you have to be funny all the time? Can't you ever be serious in your life? And in my head, I'd be thinking, you should just be thankful that you got a card from me, because I really didn't even want to do that. But so many of us kind of have a relationship with our mom out of obligation, out of something that we feel the need to do. If we don't do it, we feel guilty. So these feelings of guilt just kind of keep adding layer upon layer, and we just don't know what to do with it. I don't know about you, but when my mom used to call me, I could tell with the first breath what that phone call was going to be like. Oh, here we go again. This is going to be one of those calls. But my mom was pretty absent in my whole life from about age 13 on. And there was a lot of stuff going on in my childhood that was very tumultuous. And I left the house when I was 17. I got married. I graduated from high school, got married 2 weeks later. Not because I really thought that I wanted to get out of the house, but it just seemed like the next logical step for me. So over the years, my mom and I were pretty estranged. I had a couple miscarriages that she didn't even know about, and we only lived a few miles from each other. So we really didn't have any idea what was going on in each other's lives. It wasn't until I was married, after 32 years of marriage, and my husband told me that he wanted a divorce. One day my mom called me. I live in California, and she lives in Ohio. And I thought, oh, okay, why is she calling? I don't need this at this time. But I answered the phone, and she said, Nancy, is it true what I hear? That you're getting a divorce? And I said, yes, it's true. That's what's happening. And then she said something that just really blew me away. She said, Nancy, please let me be there for you. I've never been there for you your whole life. Please let me be there for you now, because I know you're going to need someone in your corner. Well, hello. Who are you, and what did you do with my mom? I didn't really even know what that looked like. And, I didn't want to start anything, and I just said, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. We'll just see where this goes. And I said, but why? Why now? Why does this matter to you? And she said, I've never been there for you. And when you were a child, you used to say things that used to scare the heck out of me, and I didn't understand you. But I'm watching everything that you're doing in your life. I'm watching you on social media. I'm watching what you're doing with all of these women. And I think that maybe what you're doing for them, you could also do for us. I would like that. Well, color me confused, because I really didn't know what to say about that. So I said, well, let's just, take it from here and see where it'll go. And she said, Nancy, when you were a little girl, you used to scare me with all these ideas and thoughts that used to come up in your head. And she said, I never knew how to deal with it. I used to just tell you to shut up and scream at you. And when that didn't work, I used to try to beat it out of you. And when that didn't work, I just ignored you. So suffice it to say that my mother and I really didn't know how to have a relationship. Our relationship was based on me trying to avoid her, her trying to force her motherly, rights, and whatever it was she thought being a mom was, and my resistance was up, and I was trying to protect me. But what I know from the work that I do in my coaching is that it's not about how someone else makes you feel or what they say, because no one else has the power to make you feel anything. So I realized that if this was something that I wanted to move past, to get forward, that I would have to do some internal work on this. So just imagine going from this relationship where I just didn't think very much of my mom. I mean, I wouldn't say that I hated her, but I would say that I definitely had these feelings where it just didn't bring up something good when I thought about her or thought about being around her. I think the feeling that I would suggest is resistance. I resisted anything about her because I thought that that's what made me strong. I feel like, I've worked through so many things in my life, and I just felt that in order to work through all those things, I had to be this really strong person to get through everything that I did. Well, my strength, what I realized, was sometimes not a matter of strength, but a matter of resistance. And anything we resist, we're creating struggle around. So if you take struggle minus resistance, it equals success. So this relationship building event that my mom and I decided to journey on, it was pretty amazing for me. And at that time, I was thinking about my second book. How was I going to write this second book? What was it going to be about? And I kind of had an idea of what I wanted it to be about, but it wasn't coming together. And one day, my mom and I were Skyping because, believe it or not, nowadays, we either Skype, text, or call each other at least once or twice a day. Can you imagine that? From all those years of no conversation to now in constant communication. My mom knows more about where I am than my daughters do. It's amazing. But when I was trying to figure out, okay, so what should this book be about? And my mom and I were Skyping, and I got the idea, based on the work that my mom and I had been doing. I had been using my Mastering Your Beliefs program to help my mom in my relationship. And I said, Mom, I think I know what this next book's going to be about. I think it needs to be a book with you and I both sharing our story. Would you be open to that? And my mom said, no. And then she went like this and she goes, well, yes. I see everything that you're doing, and everything has been so wonderful between you and I, and if it will help someone else, yes, I'll do it. Just tell me what to do. So I said, well, Mom, basically all I want you to do is just write your story out the way you remember it, your story of who you are and where you come from, and send it to me. And so she did that. And I told her, I said, don't put any filter on it. Don't second guess. Don't try to, think about what you're writing and should I write that or shouldn't I write that? And it was so interesting to me because as my mom was sending me what she wrote, I would fix the grammar and then make sure that the information was in chronological order. And that's it. Everything else is my mom's words. And when I started reading my mom's words, it was so interesting to me because most of my mom's story had been kind of spewed at me, in my face from hatred from my mom because she was just so miserable about where she came from in her life and her life based on how it was when I was growing up. And she was not a happy person, not at all. And reading her words, it was very interesting to me. And so this book really has done so much more than just the coaching techniques that I had been helping my mom and I with, but the book really had some turnaround as well. So I decided that it really needs to be shared with so many people. And so I published the book, Healing the Child Within, Life is All About Choices. And it went to bestseller within 8 hours. I was so amazed. And I realized that there are so many women, moms and daughters alike, who are having challenges. They don't know how to heal their relationship. Maybe they don't even know how to have a relationship. And oftentimes we don't know how to talk to our parents because we're afraid if we say something, I don't know, it might come out wrong, or we might sound like we're ungrateful, or we might sound hateful. And so we really don't know how to speak to our parents. So if you can relate to anything I'm sharing in this video, I'd like to invite you to order a copy of Healing the Child Within. Life is all about choices. Because there's so much information in here that can really help you think outside of the emotional aspect of the mother-daughter relationship. You know, in one of the workshops that I did, there was a mom in there, and she said, I'm buying a copy for myself and both of my daughters, and I'm going to tell my daughters that I will babysit their children until they finish the book, and then the three of us are going to go off and we're going to work on the exercises in the back of the book together. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for healing the relationship between my daughters and I. I feel so blessed that I'm able to share this message, because to go from a really estranged, hateful, frustrating relationship between my mom and I to now one of love and mutual understanding and mutual respect, it's so amazing. So whether you think that your mom would be open to healing your relationship or not, this isn't about trying to talk your mom into, oh mom, let's do this together. Not at all. This is about helping you understand you and why you make the choices that you do, and how just by simply making a couple different choices, you can heal the child within. Because every one of us has this little girl inside of us that's who remembers all of the hurt and anger and trauma and abuse and frustration from our childhood. And we've brought her with us into adulthood. And we don't even realize that as adults, we're still making decisions based on what that little girl believes. So if you're ready to heal the child within, I would invite you to order a copy of this book. Just being around other women, hearing the stories from other women, mothers and daughters alike, can really help you put it into perspective and heal you and heal the child within. This is Nancy Muller saying ciao for now.